Okay, today we're going to be doing the poem The Zulu Girl. So I'm just going to start now. So if you have a look at the words in the first line, sun, hot, red, and smolder, and then you have a look in the second line where it says sweating. All of these words imply extreme heat. So the first line says, when in the sun, the red hot acres smolder. Now, smolder means that something burns both out of flame. So it's just like extremely hot, if I can put it that way. And then it says, down where the sweating gang, its labor plies. Okay, so now you kind of get a bit of like an image of what's going on here. You can see that this extreme heat is a terrible working condition. And that we know that people are working here because it says with the sweating gang and labor plies. Okay, then it says a girl flings down her hoe. Okay, so this girl flinging down her hoe shows that it's like a bit of a defiance. She's, like tired, how you would be if you had to also do like hard labor work. And from her shoulder unslings her child tormented by the flies. Okay, then you see that this girl, obviously, her child is uncomfortable. He's being tormented. Also, in this extreme heat, it's just very uncomfortable for a child, I'm sure you can imagine. Then it says here, she takes him to a ring of shadow pooled. Now, pooled is like a bit of a contrast to the heat. Because obviously, when you think of a pool, you think of water. By the thorn tree. So thorn tree is a bit of a harsh image. You don't really find shade underneath a thorn tree. I mean, normally you get those huge big trees, and a thorn tree is kind of like not as plentiful in shade. Okay, purpled with the blood of ticks. So purpled with the blood of ticks, it just shows that it's the blood of the ticks on that tree has dried up and has become this purple color. So that's what that means. And then it says, while her sharp nails in slow caresses ruled, prowl through his hair with sharp electric clicks. Okay, so what's happening here is obviously this mother's child is very uncomfortable, and she is just prowling through his hair and basically killing the ticks. So slow caresses shows that the mother cares very deeply for her child. Obviously, it's like a very motherly thing to, like caress your child. And then prowl is kind of like very wild or like predatory. And it shows that it's like a strong mother, she's willing to fight for her child in a sense. Okay. His sleepy mouth, plugged by the heavy nipple, tugs like a puppy, grunting as his feed. Okay, so now the child is being compared to a puppy, and this sentence here, tugs like a puppy, also tells us that through this labor that this Zulu girl is doing, she may essentially feel like a dog, if that makes sense. Because obviously it's like hard work. She doesn't feel like she feels like she's being treated like an animal, if that makes sense. Okay, through his frail nerves, her own deep languors ripple. Okay, so the child is feeding, obviously, but he's taking in more than his mother's breast milk. He is well, in the next paragraph, you'll see like what he's taking in. But basically it is the milk flowing through the mother is being compared to a river that's like flowing through reeds. Yet in that drowsy stream, his flesh imbibes an old, unquenched, unsmotherable heat, the curbed ferocity of beaten tribes, the sullen dignity of their defeat. Okay, so basically, so the child, like I said, the child's not only taking in the mother's milk, the child is also like, he's taking in everything that his mother's feeling. to put it that way. And then it talks about like the curb ferocity of beaten tribes, the sullen dignity of their defeat. So the child takes this heat or this form of heat from his mother, firstly, because old unquenched and smotherable heat. And he's also like, then it talks about tribes here, and it's kind of like the sullen dignity of their defeat, but they're not really defeated, if that makes sense. And by defeated means like the African tribes have been, like, obviously they've been colonized now, if that makes any sense. Her body looms above him like a hill, within whose shade a village lies at rest, or the first cloud so terrible and still that bears the coming harvest in his breast. Okay, so this last paragraph kind of confirms that the tribe is not beaten yet, because the Zulu girl is compared to a hill within whose shade a village lies at rest. So that's kind of saying like she's very protective over the child. The mother seems a lot more stronger. I mean, she's being compared to a hill, and she's like the protector of the whole village. I mean, she's protecting them from heat because she's providing them with shade. And then you also see like, or the first cloud so terrible and still that bears the coming harvest in his breast. So it's also like a storm. It like kind of makes you feel like there's a storm coming along. But what it also really means is that the Zulu tribe has not been defeated, and that just as you don't know when a storm will come, it is the same with this tribe. They're not defeated yet, and they will come back with more strength. So that is like a very short analysis, but I do hope that that helps you.